Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uh, all the guests, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for coming and attending this very important piece of discussion. ICAP's establishment, as you know, is as a regulator of the profession of accountants. And ICAP has always been working to ensure public interest. So all our actions are towards strengthening and increasing the level of public trust and public interest to safeguard the public interest. So in that respect, we all know that there are large corporations, there are small organizations, and all of them are operating through banking channel. And for the entity, for any cutoff date, may it be a year end or a quarter end or a half year, there are balances to be reported in the financial statements. Those who are auditors, I can see many auditors sitting here, they can understand the life cycle of a new articleship trainee when he joins, what he goes through. The first responsibility or the start of training is with how you get the bank confirmations. The new articleship trainee goes to the client to give him the list of banks. Kya bank ke naam hai sare. He takes all those details and then go to his firm, go to the typist to type that bank letters, then comes back, takes the authorization of the client, again comes back, there are errors, then the manager will say you have to make changes, you go back. Finally, the bank confirmations are dispatched. Now he's to start following up kabare confirmations, and I can guarantee they never come. You have to have a very strong follow-up, and then even the whole audit is done, financial statements have been initialed, and one of the last item that comes for before you actually signs the audit report is the bank confirmation. So I myself have experienced many a times it creates such a tension, and even the highest position of a professional firm as well as for the organization, finally they are the two people who are actually coordinating, and it's like the audit partner says I won't sign, and even the chief executive then gets involved to get those confirmations arranged. So this is such a process, and of course we have knowledge of many issues, or I would say, and use the word frauds that have happened internationally, where there have been involvement of bank confirmations and the correctness and genuinity of bank confirmations. So we all understand this concept that administratively as well as qualitatively, the importance of getting bank confirmations, not only that it should be done in a manner which is less cumbersome, it is in a form that can be reliable. This is something which is equally important for all the audit firm, the organization, and of course in an overall environment for the regulators as well, so that they can have an accurate and a true and fair financial statement. So we all are on board, we all understand it. Now the question is that how we are going to, achieve that objective which I have just stated. So in that respect, of course, nowadays it is the technology. And through the use of technology, we can achieve the objective that I have highlighted. So the Institute had this in mind. I'm very thankful to Khurshid and Arsalan, who have been leading this effort. We got some ideas of this because the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, which is the regulator of accountants in Malaysia, they initiated and they achieved this objective. And one of our members over there, Humayun, he also played a role and referred it. So many thanks to all of these people who are involved. Within the institute, in our meetings internally, we have debated this, and also we have briefed the council as well. So all of us are very clear in our resolve to play our role and to implement a system of getting the confirmations which is in the public interest. So in that respect, now what are the steps that we are taking? So we have, you will see a presentation from the representative of the organization, which are going to, which has this solution coming from the Malaysia. It's a listed entity. So the actual details, how it is run, you will get it from their presentation. And if there will be any question or answer, I'll be happy to answer that. But from the perspective of the institute role, because this is one question that people do ask me, like confirmations तो auditor ने लेनी है and देनी जो है वो किसी बैंक ने है, तो where is ICAP? So for you to understand the ICAP role, let me explain that the information, the details of what is required for an auditor, from where it is coming, that is coming from ICAP. There is a technical release, there's an ATR 18, which is issued by ICAP and which has defined, which is given, which has provided the format of what information you require to have a valid confirmation, valid information required for an audit. So there is this ATR, which has, it's a 4 or 5 pages complete document that is attached to all the authorizations, which goes to the banks from the company's side, from the entity's side. That is issued by ICAP, and this is a mandatory requirement for all the auditors that they have to follow the requirements of the ATR. So that is the first role. And that document was issued way back, I think early 80s somewhere, with the agreement of the Pakistan Banking Association. So it was an agreement with the forum, which is like representative of the banks together as well. So that is a document which over a period was also a little updated, but it is an agreed document issued by the ICAP, mandatory for the audit firms and for the banks to provide such level of information. Now, this document, again, there is no change with respect to the information that is to be made available to the auditor and to be given by the bank. That remains intact. There is no change in that respect. So if, like, say, because maybe in that period of time, this level of detail was required and now this can be obtained somewhere else, if that gets updated, the system that will be available will also get affected. So that has no linkage between the two. But as we speak, the information that the banks are providing or what the auditors required, there is not going to be any change with that. So that part is done. So that is one role of ICAP that we are playing. The second is that this whole thing, each individual firm cannot go to a vendor and start negotiating or to bring, what and how this platform is going to be, because there is information which is private to organizations. Of course, there's a provider of the information, which is the bank. They have to be very careful, like the medium that they are using, is that secured? Is that information that they are giving remains with the intended audience only? So that is very significant for the bank's part. From the company's part, it is their information which is being shared. So of course, they need a very clear assurance or an understanding that whatever flows, it remains for the intended audience. So this is again something very important. And of course, for the auditors, they required information timely, but information because they are also guardian of that information, and they have to protect because what goes out from there and what comes to there, and that also has to remain within who is authorized to have that information. So again, a very critical, role in that. To bring all of them together, who will do it? Only ICAP, only the regulator of the profession. We are the only one who can do it. So that is why, and of course, I can't miss mentioning the regulators, because one side is the banks. So of course, the state bank gets involved, companies are involved. So the SECP has an interest. So everybody would like to understand, because this is such a big transformation that is going to happen. Of course, everybody is interested to have that level of assurance that at the end of the day, when all of this gets implemented, there are no loopholes, no risks, everything has been properly addressed. So again, ICAP has to play a role. The last aspect within this is because if there is a service provider, if something is going to change, there's an element of cost attached to it. Okay. So how much is that cost? It has to, because if you bring something, asmani to pani koi cheez le aaye, but if it has such a cost, which nobody is going to pay or nobody is going to appreciate that. So again, we need to have a cost which is reasonable, which is appropriate for the objective that we are trying to achieve. So clearly, that is another role. In that respect, one thing which is making us very conscious is that in this whole, I would say, the supply chain or the complete chain of this process, all are not equal. There are very small companies and there are very large companies as well. So you may have a father and a son. कहते हैं ना अब्बा और भाई की कंपनी भी कोई होगी there, and a very large listed company as well. So is it going to be the same cost side for a large organization? The cost side will not bother anybody, but for a smaller organization, a very small cost may bother that. So you have to be very conscious of how are you going to handle that, and also in terms of like the professional firms who are going to, the auditors who are going to be involved. This has to, whatever the cost is going to be, it has to go through the auditor. And in that, also there are large firms and there are small firms as well. So that is something we need to understand as well. And this whole process has to be in such a manner which is easier to use as well. If you make it such complex that, to get one confirmation, there are so much complexities involved, or an extraordinary time is being spent. So nobody is going to appreciate that as well. We need to be conscious of that as well. So all these deliberations have already been done internally. We have not locked everything at the moment. Of course, we are trying to, create a momentum because it's a transformation. So we are discussing with people. We have this is not the first time that we are discussing. There are seminars before that. We have had internal meetings, presentations as well. We have looked at how it flows. We have a very, very broader understanding of the costs that are involved. We have also understanding of where the risks are and what are the important elements of this. Like, for example, all this information is going through a platform. Where is that platform residing from a technology standpoint? What is the security of that as well? So all of this, we have already gone through a very broader. We have not signed off. We have not locked it at the moment, but we are at a very advanced stage, and that is where we are trying to have a discussion with all the stakeholders. We are trying to explain to everyone. And up till now, to whoever we have discussed with this, may it be auditor, may it be the companies, regulators, everybody is saying this is the need of the hour, and it has kind of become a no-brainer, right? So we all together, because everyone has a role. Let me show you that from ICAP standpoint, every view is important. We will listen to everyone, so that at the end of the day, When this all gets locked, then it's only the implementation, the procedural part that is outstanding. So I am very confident, inshallah, because as I said, this is where we have to take this whole process to. I'm very optimistic that everybody will understand that, will support this initiative, and without all your support and agreement, you won't be able to achieve the objective. So with that, thank you very much again for coming, and you will have the forum to understand the whole thing and to ask questions as well. Thank you.